We were in question 4C, paper 1. How does the church in Kenya punish errant members? 5 marks. The church suspends them. It denies them participation in church activities, or it denies them participation in church rituals. They may be denied leadership positions, or rather they may be demoted. They may be publicly condemned or asked to repent or apologize. They may be warned. Some may be transferred to difficult areas. So remember to say may be transferred to difficult areas, may be sacked from the job, they may be excommunicated, may be charged a fine. Question 5A, outline the suffering of Prophet Jeremiah during his ministry. So the suffering of Prophet Jeremiah: rejected by his own family, or you can say rejected by his relatives. False accusations made against him. As I was saying, false accusations made against him. Threatened with death because of speaking for God. Threatened with death because of speaking for God. Lived a lonely life or a solitary life. That is, he was commanded to neither marry nor attend any social gatherings. So that's why we are saying he lived a lonely and solitary life. Was rejected by the Israelites. That is, his message, was rejected by the Israelites. He went through spiritual struggle as he saw the evil prosper while the righteous suffered. He went through spiritual struggle as he saw the evil prosper while the righteous suffered. He was physically assaulted, or you can say he was beaten. His enemies attempted to kill him, or rather you can just, they attempted to kill him by putting him in a muddy cistern. Was humiliated in public, or he was mocked. He was also imprisoned or jailed, and then he was arrested and put on trial. Question 5B, give reasons why Nehemiah carried out religious reforms in Judah. So Nehemiah's religious reforms in Judah. So why did he carry out them? The reasons: to preserve the identity of the Jews as the people of God, to preserve the identity of the Jews as the people of God, to separate the Jews from foreign influence, purify the temple. Remember that the temple had been defiled by keeping a foreigner. Also to reinstate the services of the Levites as priests. Remember, they were also singers of the temple. So to reinstate the services of the Levites as priests. To restore the tithing system that had been forgotten for the upkeep of the temple. To restore the tithing system that had been forgotten for the upkeep of the temple. Restore the tithing system that had been forgotten for the upkeep of the temple. To ensure that the Sabbath day was free from business activities. That is, to keep the Sabbath day holy. That is to ensure that it was free from business activities. Question 5C. List 7 lessons that political leaders can learn from Nehemiah's leadership in Kenya today. So lessons political leaders can learn from Nehemiah's leadership. They should be, you start with they should. They should be hardworking. Hardworking or committed to work. They should face opposition, or rather you should say they should face challenges courageously. They should pray in all situations, or consult God in all situations. The same as it's just praying. They should have a vision. They should recognize other people's abilities. They should be selfless, or they should practice selfless service. But they should be patriotic. Make wise decisions in all circumstances. Make wise decisions in all circumstances. They should be honest. And they should serve as role models. Question 6A. Explain the importance of rituals performed during the naming ceremony in traditional African communities. So, importance of naming rituals. So, you name the ritual and then you say what its importance is, or basically what it meant. That is its importance. So, the ritual and what it symbolized, that is the importance. Bathing of the baby symbolizes the beginning of a new life. Bathing of the baby symbolizes, because it's ongoing, traditional African community, so symbolizes, because it's being done up to today, the beginning of a new life. Shaving of the mother and the baby's hair symbolizes new status. Shaving of the mother and baby's hair symbolizes new status. Choosing of the appropriate name to give the baby is for identification, or to honor the ancestors. Choosing the appropriate name to give the baby to honor the ancestors, or is for identification. You identify the baby. Feeding of the baby symbolized new life. Holding of the baby by members of the community shows concern for it. Holding of the baby by members of the community shows concern for it. Or it shows also shared responsibility. You are sharing the responsibility. Words of blessing for the mother and baby signifies a long life. Words of blessings, or a prayer for the mother and baby signifies long life. Slaughtering of animals is a way of thanksgiving to the ancestors, or you can just say it is a thanksgiving to God when you slaughter of animals. Feasting is a sign of joy. When you feast also, it's to welcome the baby, or you're accepting the baby. That's why you're feasting. Giving of presents to the baby is a sign of goodwill. Giving of presents to the baby is a sign of goodwill. Wearing of charms signifies protection for the baby. Protection of the baby or the mother when you wear charms. When they are wearing charms, that is the mother and the baby. Question 6b. Identify 6 ways in which the ancestors were venerated in traditional African communities. Identify 6 ways in which ancestors were venerated in traditional African communities. Pouring libations, making sacrifices and giving offerings, ancestors were also venerated through naming children after them. Naming children after them. Praying to God through them. So you pray to God through the ancestors. Addressing them by their proper names or titles. Addressing them by their proper names or titles. Inviting them to social functions. Inviting them to social functions. Teaching children about them. Teach children about them and building shrines. Building shrines. Question 6c. Give reasons why payment of dowry is not common in Kenya today. Reasons why payment of dowry is not common in Kenya today. Dowry has been commercialized. It has been commercialized. Poverty. Therefore, what it means when you explain it, because you're giving reasons. You say lack of money or possessions to give, basically. That is poverty. Influence from Western culture and breakdown of African values. Influence from Western culture basically means that you don't give the what? The dowry, because in Western culture they don't. That is breaking down of African what? Values. Fear of divorce. For the rate is very high in the society and no one is ready to repay. So you don't want to pay dowry because you're fearing you'll divorce and then you will not be repaid back the dowry that you gave. So fear of divorce for the rate is very high in the society and no one is ready to repay back. Lack of commitment to their marriages, resulting in trial marriages. Lack of commitment to their marriages, resulting in trial marriages. So most people are not fully married, they are just in trial. Can we stay? Christians do not put a lot of emphasis on dowry payment, but on love and faithfulness. So Christians do not put a lot of emphasis on dowry payment, but on love and faithfulness. Also, a reason why payment of dowry is not common in Kenya is because unreasonable demands or pressure on young people from the parents of the bride, leading to elopement. Where you elope is that you marry with no occasion, without involving the community. So, unreasonable demands and pressure on young people. There is also permissiveness in that negotiations are left to parents of the boy and the girl. Permissiveness, that is too much freedom in that the negotiations are left to parents of the boy and girl. So the whole community is not involved.